Alright, what's up guys? So this is the Horrifying Night's Crime Show. Yes, we're on Season 5 already. Absolutely nuts to me that we are on Season 5. I decided that, you know what, I want a little bit more days off than I'm going to get. So I'm recording some of the other stuff, get through more of the more difficult things I have to record. It's just this and I think so this season's going to be a first. This is obviously going to be the first season with 13 episodes since season 3, I think. 2 or 3, I think, was the last one. Obviously no, it was 2. Season 3 had 10 episodes, Season 4 had 10 episodes. So yeah, it's been since Season 2, which had 14 episodes. So I'm going to be talking about the Manson family first. And then after that, I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about H.H. Holmes, which is often considered the first serial killer in at least the United States. And then I'm going to talk about The Man, which is going to be the first time I talk about something that is actually not real. I'm going to be talking about something that is from mine, something that I create and all that stuff, and I'm going to talk about one of my series and one of my, serial killers that I've made, and that'll be the 5-part season finale. But this will be at least 3 parts, at the very most 4 parts. But today I'm going to talk about the Manson family. So this is going to be part 1. So I first heard about the Manson family back in probably 2008, 2009 because of Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters was the show that I first got introduced, and then Paranormal Witness was the second time. So this would be at least, at the very most 4 parts, at the very least 3 parts. And I think that what I'm going to do today, I'm not going to talk about the formation. I'll briefly talk about like when it started, when they obviously the Manson family is most infamous for the murders of Sharon Tate and what happened in 1969. They did crimes before that, and some of them did crimes after as well. But I'm just going to actually just so they started so the they were called the San Francisco Followers, but his cult, Charles Manson's cult, started in 1967. That's the earliest I could find. And he moved to San Francisco with the permission, and basically met with this girl named Mary, and they started the San Francisco Followers. I don't think they started going by the Manson family until either by the end of the year or the very next year, in 1968. But I will talk about probably the majority of the crimes first. So I'll start with the Crow shooting. So on May 18, 1969, Terry Melcher visited Span Ranch to hear Manson and the women sing. Melcher arranged a subsequent visit not long thereafter, during which he brought a friend who possessed a mobile recording unit, but Melcher did not record the group. By June, Manson was telling the family they might have to show. That the Manson tasked Watson with obtaining money supposedly intended to help the family prepare for the conflict. Watson defrauded a black drug dealer named Bernard Crow. Crow responded with a threat to wipe out everyone at Span Ranch. Manson countered on July 1st, 1969 by shooting Crow at his Hollywood apartment. Manson's belief that he had killed Crow was seriously confirmed by a news report of the discovery of the dump body of a Black Panther in Los Angeles. Although Crow was not a member of the Black Panthers, Manson concluded he had been and expected retaliation from the Panthers. He turned Span Ranch into a defensive camp with night patrols of armed guards. Quote, if we needed any more proof that Helter Skelter was coming down very soon, that was it. End quote. Tex Watson would later write, okay, I'm not going to repeat, right? The Hinman murders. Gary Allen Hinman was a music teacher and PhD student at UCLA. At some point in the late 60s, he befriended members of the Manson family, allowing some to stay at his home on occasion. Manson was under the impression that Hinman had considerable stocks and bonds and owned his property. Believing that he was wealthy, Manson sent family members Bobby, Mary, and Susan Atkins to Hinman's home on July 25th, 1969 to convince Gary to join the family and turn over the assets Manson thought Hinman had inherited. The three held the uncooperative Hinman hostage for 2 days, during which time Manson showed up with a sword and slashed his ear. After that, Bobby stabbed Hinman to death, allegedly on Manson's instruction, before leaving the Topanga Canyon residence. Bobby, or one of the women, used Hinman's blood to write, quote, political piggy, end quote, on the wall, and to draw a panther paw, a Black Panther symbol. In magazine interviews of 1981 and 1998 to 1999, Bobby said he went to Hinman's to recover money paid to Hinman for drugs that have supposedly been bad. He added that Bruner and Atkins, unaware of his intent, went along merely to visit Hinman. Atkins, in her 1977 autobiography, wrote that Manson directly told Bobby, Bruner, and her to go to Hinman's and get the supposed inheritance of $21,000. She said that 2 days earlier Manson had told her privately that if she wanted to, quote, do something important, end quote, she could kill Hinman and get his money. Bobby was arrested on August 6, 1969. After he was caught driving Hinman's car, police found the murder weapon in the tire well. 2 days later, Manson told family members at Span Ranch, quote, now is time for Helter Skelter, end quote. The murders of Sharon Tate, Sebring, Folger, Frykowski, and Parents. So these are the main ones I'm going to talk about. On the night of August 8th, 1969, Manson directed Watson to take Susan Atkins, Linda Kasabian, and Patricia Greenwinkle to Melcher's former home at 10,050 Cello Drive in LA and kill everyone there. The home had only recently been rented to celebrity couple Sharon Tate and director Roman Polanski, at which she killed him. Polanski was away in Europe working on A Day at the Beach, which he would later end up only producing. Manson told the three women to do as Watson told them. The family members proceeded to kill the 5 people they found. Actress Sharon Tate, 8.5 months pregnant, was living there at the time. Jay Sebring, Abigail Folger, and Wiltek Furkowski, who were visiting her, and Stephen Parent, who had been visiting the caretaker of the home. Atkins wrote, quote, "Pig," end quote, with Tate's blood on the front door as they left. The murders created a nationwide sensation. The next night of August 9th, and I'm actually going to read a little bit more. So, it was very graphic. There was a person that worked in LAPD that said that was the most graphic murder he had ever seen. And he had seen the Black Dahlia murder in 1947. So, let's see. The next night of August 9, 1969, 6 family members, Leslie, Steve, and the 4 from the previous night, drove out on Manson's orders. Displeased by the panic of the victims at Cello Drive, Manson accompanied the 6, quote, to show them how to do it, end quote. After a few hours riding, in which he considered a number of murders and even attempted one of them, Manson gave Kasabian directions that brought the group to 3301 Waverly Drive. This was the home of supermarket executive Lino LeBlanca and his wife Rosemary, a dress shop co-owner. Located in the Los Felix section of LA, it was next door to a house in which Manson and family members had attended a party that previous year. According to Atkins and Kasabian, Manson disappeared up to the driveway and returned to say he had tied up the house's occupants. He then sent Watson up with Krenwinkel and Van Houten. In his autobiography, Watson stated that having gone up alone, Manson returned to take him up to the house with him. After Manson pointed out a sleeping man through a window, the two of them entered through the unlocked back door. Watson at trial, he, quote, went along with, end quote, the women's account, which he figured made him, quote, look that much less responsible, end quote. As Watson related it, Manson roused the sleeping Lino from the couch at gunpoint and had Watson bind his hands with a leather tong. After Rosemary was brought briefly into the living room from the bedroom, Watson followed Manson's instructions to cover the couple's heads with pillowcases. He bound these in place with lamp cords. Manson left, sending Krenwinkel and Van Houten into the house with instructions that the couple would be killed. Before leaving Span Ranch, Watson had complained to Manson of the inadequacy of the previous night's weapons. Now, sending the women from the kitchen to the bedroom to which Rosemary had been returned, he went to the living room and began stabbing Lino with a chrome-plated bayonet. First thrust went into the man's throat. Sounds of a scuffle into the bedroom drew Watson there to discover Rosemary, keeping the women at bay by swinging the lamp tied to her neck. After subduing her with several stabs with the bayonet, he returned to the living room and resumed attacking Lino, whom he stabbed a total of 12 times with the bayonet. After this attack, the word, quote, war, end quote, was carved into his abdomen by a perpetrator. Returning to the bedroom, Watson found Krenwinkel stabbing Rosemary with a knife from the LeBlanca kitchen. Heeding Manson's instructions to make sure each of the women could depart, Watson told Van Houten to stab Mrs. LeBlanca too. She did, stabbing her approximately 16 times to the back and the exposed buttocks. At trial, Van Houten would claim uncertainty that Rosemary was dead when she stabbed her. Evidence showed that many of Mrs. LeBlanca's 41 stabbings had in fact been inflicted post-mortem. While Watson cleaned up the bayonet and showered, Krenwinkel wrote, quote, rise, end quote, in quote, death to pigs, end quote, on the walls, and, quote, helter skelter, end quote, on the refrigerator door, all in LeBlanca's blood. She gave Lino 14 puncture wounds with an ivory handle, 2 tined carving fork, which she left jutting out of his stomach. She also planted a steak knife in his throat. Meanwhile, hoping for a double crime, Manson had gone on to direct Kate Sabian to drive to the Venice home of an actor acquaintance of hers, another, quote, piggy, end quote, depositing the other 3 family members who had departed Spain with him that evening at the man's apartment building. Manson drove back to Spam Ranch, leaving them and the LeBlanca murders to hitchhike home. Sabian thwarted this murder by deliberately knocking on the wrong apartment door and waking a stranger. As the group abandoned the murder and planned and left Atkins. Okay. And that is it. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later.